Hi, my name is Garrett with G&D Chillers. Today I'm going to talk you through the startup of a horizontal air chiller. With the chiller, you're going to get a 10 easy step form that pretty much walks you through the startup of the chiller. The first step talks about our Terra service. Our Terra service is a remote monitoring service that will give you texts and emails to you if you're remote from your facility about your chiller. Pretty much all it entails is that you take a Cat5 Ethernet cable from the controller to your router, and from there we can set it up for you. We'll have more videos and information on our website if you want more information on the Terra service. All right, so our second step on the startup is just the placement of your chiller. So right off the bat, we get a lot of questions about the pad. Pretty much what we're looking for is a concrete pad that's level, and you can just have the chiller securely placed on that concrete pad. So as far as the clearances go, it's very important to get this right off the bat. So on the intake side, so on the back side of the chiller, you want at least 2 feet of clearance for the intake side. On the front side of the chiller with the louvered panels, you're going to want that completely open to free air. You don't want any of the hot air escaping from the fans to get recycled back into the intake of the condenser and spike your head pressure. So the next step on the startup form, it talks about a Y strainer, it's step 3. So the Y strainer is going to be exterior of the chiller. It's going to be on your return piping right by the chiller. And pretty much what it has a mesh screen in it, and it's going to filter out any particulates from your process piping so it doesn't get back to the chiller. It can foul the heat exchanger and sort of cause issues. How you want to size that, whatever size your main line is for your process piping, you want to go one size above that. And the screen inside the Y strainer needs to be a 20 mesh screen. So the next step on the startup form is simply going to get your crankcase heaters energized. You'll see some verbiage on that step saying to keep the unit energized for 4 hours. So what that's doing is there's some crankcase heaters on the compressor, and pretty much what that's going to do, it's going to burn off liquid refrigerant. So we want that on for a long period of time so you can see oil levels. If your compressors are flooded, you're not going to see that oil level. So when you're at this step, if you go to the compressor sight glass and you see a level in there, you're good to go to move on to the next step. So the next step of the startup is flushing your process piping. So what you're going to do is you're going to ensure that the compressor breakers are shut off in the panel. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill your reservoir with water. You're going to open your supply valve to your process piping. You're going to close your return valve at the chiller, and you're going to be filtering water out the Y strainer. So once you have the reservoir full, you're going to go again, making sure that your compressor breakers are off. You're going to turn the door switch on and allow the pump to run, and it's going to start flushing water throughout your process piping. This is a very good opportunity to check the rotation of your pump. From the back side of the pump, you're going to want a clockwise rotation. If you have any questions about that, you can call us. But once you've flushed, you want to just look at your Y strainer, all the water coming out your Y strainer, and make sure it's clean and clear. Once that is clean and clear, you can sort of button up that Y strainer and stop filling your reservoir and pretty much get all the water out that you can, obviously before buttoning up your Y strainer. Furthermore, after flushing your process piping, this is when you're going to want to add your propylene glycol. So it's very important right off the bat that you have inhibited propylene glycol. Those inhibitors are important for organic growth, corrosion, stuff like that. You don't want your process pipe to affect your glycol at all. So inhibited propylene glycol is a must, and we're looking for a 35% mixture with your reservoir full, your process piping full, and all your jackets or any other equipment in your process. All right, so the next step on the startup, you're going to take the opportunity to check your bypass pressure. So there's a bypass valve in the unit that's going to regulate the pressure outgoing to your process. So we set that at 20 psi for these horizontal air units. So you're going to shut your supply and return ball valve temporarily and look at the analog gauge with the chiller just circulating within itself and verify that that's 20 psi. Since you do this after adding and putting in your glycol mixture, this gives you a little bit of time, because after about half an hour, you're going to want to go back and re-verify your glycol mixture with a refractometer. Again, you're looking for 35%. So the next step on the startup, after you flush and fill with glycol, you're going to go to your compressors and re-verify the oil levels. You want to check to make sure you still see that line, and you're going to go ahead and open all your service valves. So on a single stage chiller like this, you're going to have a suction and discharge service valve on the compressor, and you're going to have a service valve on the receiver. All three of those need to be opened up all the way before proceeding. This is a step in the startup that if it's not done right can cause issues, so please make sure you open the valves correctly. If you have any questions, just call into the office, we can help you out. The next step on our startup, once you have your oil levels verified, once you have the valves open, and the glycol mixture correct, is just to simply turn on the unit. So from there, you're going to go and to take the door switch to run, and you're going to navigate through the controller to set your set point for your process. If you have any questions about navigating through the controller, we'll have videos on our website, and you can call into tech support. Thank you.